Forget everything you know about Splatfests. The chaos that took Inkopolis by storm more than 4 years ago continues to grow ever more violent. Money usurped love as the leading priority in life. New experimental weapons are soon to be used in battle, and we face the imminent threat of the Salmonoids attacking the historic ruins of Umani. However, nothing will come as close as possibly the most ambitious event in Splatsville history.
What member of Deep Cut would be the best leader? Shiver, Fry, or Big Man?
The OCS lab doesn't hire journalists to go out and interview these three, but we have received classified documents from an anonymous source, claiming that the members of Deep Cut are capable of engaging in combat with special, never-seen-before abilities. While we cannot claim these to be entirely true, we can certainly examine this information and come up with a possible objectively correct answer.
Shiver is one who sends shivers down our spines. As evidenced by past Splatfests, Shiver has a large influence on the majority of Splatsville, and even Inkopolis. Her conquest for money and power were ultimately proven to be successful, causing many to fall to their knees at the sheer popularity and strength she holds over many of the objectively correct laws that she and her supporters have established throughout this year. She's described to be the most mature member of Deep Cut, often resulting in her being the one to stand in front and represent the group as a whole. She is seen as the one to open and close every Anarchy Splatcast to date, and her confidence in achieving victory in any battle is unmatched. She also speaks words that would tremendously increase the morale of any supporter fighting for her. However, some of her traits prevent double standards to what's considered good leadership qualities. She is very adamant about ensuring what is to be gained for providing services to others, often monetary. And she is an extreme perfectionist regarding her peers and her personal abilities. In good scenarios, this would benefit the group much more than normal, but in bad scenarios, this could worsen an impact.
Fry is likely to be chosen as the best leader, without question. She lived a quiet childhood with her grandfather, while her parents were primarily spending their time on vacation. As a result, she grew up with great wisdom from her grandfather, sometimes referring back to him in conversations with Deep Cut, and she applies much of this philosophy to her work today. However, her real strength lies in the ability to summon hundreds of eels with her skills inherited by the Onaga clan. Her army of eels is proof that she can command a group without losing her wits and morals, unlike someone like Shiver. With the information that we could gather about her, she seems to be the only one to throw an escape bomb correctly and can snap out of a dazed state during battle. Additionally, she leads towards direct approaches as opposed to subtle strategies, disregarding the guidelines of the Grizzco handbook. She confidently asserts that her tactic for turf war involves a simple yet effective motto: splat your enemies, then splat them again, and again. Alongside this spirited demeanor, she exhibits a mischievous side, often playing pranks and snatching snacks from her fellow band members. Notably, on Valentine's Day, she once surprised Big Man with a chocolate-covered onion.
Contrary to popular belief, Big Man is considered the highest-ranking member of Deep Cut, acting as their primary lyricist and producer. Simply due to his resume, he might as well be considered the objectively correct leader in the Splatfest, but we will take a look at his history and traits regardless. It was, in fact, Big Man who had drawn the attention of Shiver and Fry in middle school that would eventually lead to the formation of Deep Cut. He was already acquainted with the two early in his life, but it wasn't until he played the piano when their friendship grew. Outside of his work in Deep Cut, Big Man has already demonstrated exceptional leadership skills. He is the current head of Manda Ryu, one of the oldest dance schools in the Splatlands, and he is also the head of his kin, the Manta Clan, a group that holds a deep history within the Splatlands. What about his combat skills? Is his status as a leader something he could defend on his own? Are his abilities up to par with the two other members of Deep Cut? The answer to that lies in a horrifying, brutal history of his ancestry that goes beyond the time of the Mollusk era. So much so that we believe it to be a myth. Big Man's fighting style was passed down through generations of the Manta Clan, and dates back tens of thousands of years to the era of humans. Legends tell of a great battle between the ancient hero and the human with a red cap and blue overalls.
Much to our surprise, none of these three falter with any of their characteristics. It is rather impossible for the OCS lab to determine which of these three are the objectively correct leader of Deep Cut.
Shiver emits a confident, commanding presence and morale to those around her, even if her methods raise questions about leadership qualities.
Fry displays wisdom and knowledge from the most complex problems to the simplest logical answer. Her connection to her grandfather's teachings adds depth to her leadership style.
Big Man demonstrates the most experience, being a lyricist, producer, dance choreographer, and clan leader. This portfolio would be difficult to top.
Despite their diverse traits and background, each member contributes to the ensemble of Deep Cut, creating a team that stands at the forefront of Splatsville's cultural landscape.